George Bruno with the 21 Report. We're at the 21 Convention, the final event of the decade. And I'm having a conversation with Anthony Dream Johnson, our president. Welcome.
Hey, George. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Love the show. Big fan.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, here we are again at the end of another event.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Wild. I mean, it's been a wild, it's been an amazing decade, end of the decade now. Last event, last interview, actually, the report. This whole year has been wild for a variety of reasons. Even off the bat, doing 3 events is rare for us. Last time we did that was 2012. We did Australia, London, and Texas, Austin, Texas. So that was 7 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And that was tough back then.
Yes.
But the company, as tough as that was, especially doing 3 continents like that, the company was a lot smaller then.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore. So there's a lot more complexity with the company on an ongoing basis, and then doing 3 events like this was a big deal. One of them, of course, is new, the Patriarch Edition, earlier this year in the spring. We finished strong. Poland was kick-ass, and then this event was supposedly, and what I hear, the best ever.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to judge that. They're all, I view them as like my children,
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you view one more better than the other? But yeah, it's an evolution. They keep you maturing, getting more advanced. This event was just top quality, start to finish, and just amazing. And I heard this from so many guys I really trust too, that have seen a lot of events.
Yeah.
Not just 1 or 2, but like 6, 7, 8, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I feel out of all the ones that I've been to, it was the best one yet.
Yeah.
And the crowd, the attendees were amazing.
Yeah, I think we had the best speakers, the best attendees, the best venue. Poland was a little bit better venue, but I mean, I don't know. Even that was comparable. All the venues this year were amazing. Patriarch, Poland, and Orlando.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a really good vibe, really good flow, good energy, good ideas, good content, good speakers. The speeches are all kick-ass.
Yeah.
And it was and not just kick-ass, but like next level. Guys, there's one after another coming in, just raising the roof, lighting the roof on fire, so to speak.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
The attendees, it was interesting. Hi, what is your name? Where are you from? California, state of Washington, Seattle, Reno. I'm like, what's with all the West Coast?
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
We pulled in a lot from the West Coast.
And international too. Those guys from England, Canada, who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of guys I met, yeah.
And we had a television documentary team from where?
The Netherlands, yeah. I think they work for basically the PBS of the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So, we had the New York Times come out too. That was nice.
Yes.
Big fan.
Had a couple other independent press people come out, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
And everything just went, flowed really smoothly.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, or whatever you call it. So it was just awesome, and it was so positive. Like you talk about hope, optimism, positivity.
Yeah.
That was this event.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that on a day-to-day basis leading up to it, but that's exactly how it turned out.
Yeah.
That's how it should.
Yeah. I noticed there was a lot of what I call sanity during this event.
Clarity and sanity, right?
Yeah, I always like to say, my channel is the home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
Yeah.
And I felt that ruled during this event.
It did. Yeah.
For 4 straight days.
Yeah, it was intense, man.
Yeah.
And it was good to see that, and I think everyone felt that. This is exactly the kind of feedback I've heard from the attendees, the speakers, the volunteers, the staff. And we're still at the end of it now. I mean, there's the party going on right now, the farewell party, the ambassador speaker party. Yeah, what an amazing year. It's just, it's going to take time to process it fully, this event and the whole year.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, yeah.
Yeah, the room was packed.
Yeah.
Solid. I mean, if I, because I only got a chance to sit in on a few of the speeches, and when I would go into the room, there was not an abundance of chairs available. I mean, it was just, every seat was filled.
Yeah. 2019, we had more attendees overall than ever between the 3 events.
Yeah.
This 2019 Florida event, the final of the year, was the 2nd biggest we've ever had. So pretty fucking solid. And I think next year they'll be even bigger.
Yeah.
They keep attendance one way or another keeps ramping up year to year, especially in the recent years. And it's awesome. Yeah, our event can scale, pretty well. Eventually, we need to change things if it gets too big. But for now, we're still in 100 to 200 in some range.
Yeah.
And those events are super high quality. They're exactly how I want them, not only in the quality, but the the personal touch you get talking to everybody, knowing everybody, kind of the intimacy you have for 3-4 days at a time, even 5. We had most of these attendees on Wednesday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Even tomorrow, the speakers and also we'll have a private meeting. So it's like a fucking summit. It's like a retreat.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
The Dream Summit, we'll call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome to Dream World.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That worked out well. And the staff and volunteers, you had a nice full staff.
Yeah.
It was good.
Things went really good. Every level went good. Speakers, staff, volunteers, attendees. And that's probably the reason why people think you guys are saying it's so good. Because you saw a syncing or a synchronous, I don't say the fucking word, but a synchronization basically.
Yes.
Of all these things working at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what makes, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And I really think he tried to do that in his work with Apple and all the things they made, the products, the computers, even the software. And with the convention, for me, it's very much the same way. People think it's like just some random conference, and it's not. It's really high quality.
Nothing random about it.
Yeah, and I've heard this from speakers. We hired the sheriff's department to secure the event. He was saying that he's been to hundreds of conferences.
Yes.
Either at them or working, protecting them. He's like, this is easily one of, if not the best conference I've ever been to in terms of how it's run.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that differentiates the 21 convention from any other event in the world for men. We run it that tight of a ship.
Yeah.
And that's either a speaker looking at it like, wow, this is really good, or even like a sheriff's deputy who's just like, working the job. And I love that. I love making everything that we do the best that we can, period.
Yeah.
Interviews, reports, videography, photography, lighting, speakers, content, ideas, all of it to the max every fucking time. And you're part of that too. This show's awesome.
Yeah. With Tony Bruno working kind of like as a expediter, a speaker liaison, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He was like clockwork.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tony's on it, man. The Bruno family is great.
He was telling me, he was texting me, you got to get here, you got to get there, and he was on it.
I like to say, double the Bruno, double the fun.
Ah, there we go. Security was amazing. Security was amazing. It was well thought out. It was strategic. It was well planned for more controversial figures.
Yeah.
And
Molyneux was the first. Stefan Molyneux was the first speaker we had that had a long history of a pretty extensive one of real threats, violence, bomb threats, protesters. So we had none of those problems, and I think it's in part because of the way we handled that.
Absolutely.
Also because he was a recent addition, but I think we handled it pretty well.
Yeah, the words that I had heard secondhand right out of his mouth was, "I have never felt so safe."
Yeah. We run the greatest and safest event in the history of the Manosphere. Just like I said in, February of this year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's proven to be true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of the attendees carry guns, firearms, speakers. Yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when speakers carry. I'm like, fuck yeah. Top A+ speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonus points.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And Tony, too. Yeah, you guys are great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Technically, I loved everything that was happening this year. It was good. The lighting was good. You had the big monitor up there for the PowerPoint presentations. That was great. Audio was fantastic.
Yeah, they got really complex today, too. The Redman group, we had 10 guys on at the same time.
Yes, I saw that.
We had 8 before that in the first episode, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Usually we do 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then last minute, I was like, all right, let's throw a fucking 9. He's like, all right. I'm like, let's do 10.
Yeah.
He's like, all right. And they figured it out. They had just enough microphones for it.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome panel. That was easily one of the best Redman groups we've ever filmed.
That Redman group with Donovan was incredible.
You were on with Donovan or Hunter?
I was on the Hunter
The second one. Yeah.
And I watched the Donovan group.
Yeah.
And he was on point.
Yep. I told him Pat Campbell would be proud.
Totally.
He was cracking up.
Totally.
Like, Yep.
And it was really interesting. I felt like he had such a wide range of questions, and a lot of times people would be concerned that I had heard in the past concerns about getting political.
Yeah.
And one of his questions was, well, we have a nice big election coming up in 2020, and he got political.
Yeah.
And he moderated that topic so well.
Yeah. I think the issue with politics is it's easy to get carried away with politics as an issue for men in the manosphere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of relevancy. Politics,
Sure.
I think, is a masculine issue.
Yes, it is.
You know, men create governments to protect
Yeah.
their families and things like that. But yeah, Donovan did a really good job of it. The questions were intelligent, relevant, and precise, and that's how it should be handled. We
Yeah.
shouldn't dictate to guys, if they're part of the manosphere and what we do,
Right.
what they believe is stupid.
Right.
But like DDJ said, DDJ put it perfectly from the Redman Group, the web show we do, obviously. Feminists have been politically active and typically very hostile towards men
Yes.
and fathers for a long, long time.
Yes.
You can't not be political in response to that. It's absurd.
Right.
It's not just absurd, it's delusional.
You can't act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It has to be addressed
It's an issue
intelligently.
Exactly, and it's an issue. Politics, whether it's family law or larger scale stuff, like elections and stuff, that's an issue that affects all men and fathers,
Yes.
whether you like it or not. And no matter how much you want to, ignore it or pretend it doesn't, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And you've been through that, and a lot of speakers have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
What are your hopes for 2020? Now that we
yeah.
kicked off a whole decade, it's the final event. 2 thumbs up for this event.
Yeah.
Now we're approaching 2020. Why is 2020 a significant year?
2020 is going to be massive for like 1,000 different reasons. I mean, 2016 was a big year for my company as well as the country, right? Obviously with Trump and the election and all that. That was a pretty big surprise to, I think, almost everyone.
Yes.
2020, I mean, I won't be surprised if Trump wins. I'm going to obviously vote for him. I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
I think he's going to kill in a landslide. But the tension leading up to that, I'm sure, will be huge. Equal to probably the landslide he gets out of that, assuming he does. And I think
Yeah.
he will. As far as the Manosphere in 2020, for example, I realized recently that the 21 convention we're doing in Florida next year is the 21st 21 convention. And that's on top of doing the second Patriarch edition for the second time, doing the first ever women's convention, the 22 convention, Make Women Great Again.
Yeah.
On top of doing Poland again, that'll be our 5th European convention. And then obviously at the end of the year, we're going to cap it out with the 21 convention, 21st edition.
Yeah.
So that's a big fucking deal. That's
It is.
3.5, the 22 convention and the Patriarch will be combined
Yeah.
into the same venue and weekend, but separate events. But even so, it's 3.5, 4 events.
Yeah.
And that's more than I've ever done. The most I've ever done is obviously 3. So that's a big deal. That's a challenge for me, not just for the company, but for me personally. And that's going to make me step up to the plate, get stronger, grow as a man, and be the best man that I can be. The best entrepreneur, the best man, the best friend that I can be, and the best speaker, and all the associated responsibilities I have, which is, some people call hats for being an entrepreneur, and I have a lot of hats. Just like you do at the event. You're a speaker, you're an interviewer, you're speaker ambassador.
Yeah.
You have like a bunch of hats.
Yeah.
And you've been here for just a couple of years now.
Yeah, since 2017. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the 10-year anniversary. Time flies, huh?
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Yep.
So it seemed like when we did Patriarch, I blinked and then we were in Poland.
I know, right? I know.
Poland went, I blinked, and then we were here.
I know.
Next year, 4 events.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I mean, all the events each one is unique and has its own distinct, special attribute or element going on for it.
Yes.
Poland is Poland. It's the only European event. Poland's an amazing country in its own right. And we're building up basically momentum in that country and that part of the world again. Like we used to have back in the 2010 and 2012 when we did European events. But really starting the 22 convention is amazing. Every woman I've showed that to is fascinated with it. The web page, the idea, the concept, Make Women Great Again. They're stunned.
My thoughts is that it is going to be a publicity gem because it's so different. It's so newsworthy.
Yeah.
So
Oh
newsworthy.
yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
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 For me, it's a lot of fun in that it's gonna like trigger people I don't like.
Yeah.
And upset them. But I also know it's gonna educate and help people I do like.
Sure.
And that's like the vast majority of Americans and people with any degree of sanity and clarity. If you're a woman, you should act like a woman and learn how to be feminine. If you're a man, you should act like a man and learn to be masculine. We're doing that at the highest level in the world, in specific educational elements and conferences and stuff. So popping that off is going to be just fantastic, and combining it with a rebuilding of a new Western patriarchy that we're now the 2nd edition of at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's my life on a daily basis, is organizing these things, talking to the speakers, planning these things. I'm blessed. I felt at 17 years old, I just kind of fell into this.
Yeah.
I've been doing it ever since, and I don't know how to stop, so I just keep fucking going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
have guys like you and Sock egging me on, like, yeah, fucking go.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or foot on the gas pedal, they say.
Yeah.
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 And I love, you're the, AJ's the keynote of 22Con, but I view you as very close to that.
Yeah.
You have a large female audience, and
Yes.
I think you have a lot of good things to say for young women,
Yes.
and they need to listen to you.
I have a lot of female followers.
Yeah.
A lot of female followers, and I think they appreciate our message.
They do.
As I have introduced them to the players and the no pun intended, but
okay. I'm thinking the pun.
Yeah.
Like, damn, George.
Yeah, right.
Throwing them to the sharks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my thoughts are, everyone knows. It's almost like I remember when little toys and prizes would be in cereal boxes, and they would say, collect the whole set. And it's almost as if each guy is a little like a celebrity and has his own little kingdom.
Yeah.
And my followers all know who each person is. It's kind of funny how they know it, like a baseball team.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's like a team. It is a team. Yeah, but a big sports team. Yeah.
Gosh, maybe 2020 we should come up with like a deck of like trading cards.
Yeah.
With like a picture, and then on the back are like the stats or something like that, and each attendee gets like this deck of cards or something. With
so many speeches and stuff like that
Yeah,
you've done.
yeah.
That's interesting.
batting average or like whatever.
Yeah. We could.
Notch count. No.
But I'm super excited for it. I mean, thinking on 2020, it's as an overall year for the company and the country and everything going on with men and women, election, politics, Manosphere, the feminism, this and that.
Yes.
I think it's a metaphorical bomb about to go off.
Right.
And we're in the middle of it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We're riding the wave. That's what we are.
Yeah.
In one sense, we're riding a wave. In another sense, we're creating a wave.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah.
And I think that power goes in both directions.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, having Socrates at 22Con is going to be awesome too.
Yes.
He's a new father of a young daughter.
Yes.
I think. That's what I was going to say too about Socrates. I'll send it to you if you haven't seen it. He gave a talk I was thinking about it. He gave a talk in 2012, Austin, Texas, the 21 convention we had in Texas, and it was called "The Relationship Talk Your Father Never Gave You." And I think you should do something like that for the women. The relationship talk your father never gave you.
Yeah.
As a woman, as a young woman.
Yeah.
Or something similar to that. And I think your younger fans that are women are probably looking for something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
I will consider that. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we had a wide range of speakers. I mean, Sock spoke on. He did have a segment on how to change a diaper.
Yeah.
That was groundbreaking.
I know.
But powerful, because that's part of being a man.
He had like a military bag for it too, like a go bag. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He had like a little MRE kind of pouch for it. That was interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was actually he gave what he did was he established himself as a go-to guy as our attendees move on in life, get married, have children. The first time they have an issue with their children, I know they're going to call Sock.
They probably will. Yeah.
His popularity is going to grow, like really grow.
Yeah.
As these guys get married and become fathers.
I've seen that at the convention. He's been speaking at the convention since 2011.
Yeah.
I've seen that for 8 years now. That is the case.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be that guy too in some sense. I'll be calling you up or Sock or Tanner or somebody.
Yep.
So I have a nephew now, a little baby.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and that was a real gut check, a reality check, in a very positive sense, but like it was a little scary.
Yeah.
It's such a small, fragile human being.
Absolutely.
My blood.
Absolutely.
And I can see giving you and Sock a call in a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
That'll be a good call.
Yeah.
A little tense, but good.
You have used a phrase this year that you haven't used in previous years, and that was you would say like men, fathers, and sons, or what's the three?
Oh, men, boys, and fathers.
Men, boys, and fathers.
Yeah. That to me is the manosphere. That really is what the manosphere is about. Men, boys, and fathers. And
When did you
masculinity.
start saying that?
Not long ago. I think maybe a few months ago at best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what that came to me because I was thinking about, in Poland, I did a talk and a keynote at the end of the event. It was called the Manosphere. It'll be coming out on YouTube pretty soon.
Yes.
And I basically gave the first, as far as I know, the first ever presentation, professional overview of what the Manosphere, what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Other than this filth and trash on Wikipedia they put out.
Yes.
So I gave it my best effort to describe what it was,
Yeah.
the players involved, the communities, things, the issues, things like that. And I started thinking about what it is, and I'm like, yeah, it's a community. It's a positive movement for men, boys, and fathers. And it should be dedicated to the positive future of men, boys, and fathers, which is zero hostility to women and girls. I mean, that's nuts. But men need that. We don't have that right now.
Right.
And the Manosphere is the first ever, I call it an emerging movement too. It's still in the process of being built. That's doing that. And it's like Jack Donovan talks about, men organizing for their own interests, and we don't do that enough. But I think the Manosphere is that for the first time ever in probably recent world history, or ever.
Yeah.
We've never done that. Movements are typically, women do this, right? Obviously with feminism and stuff, and I think in a disastrous, reckless, and irresponsible way, and even malicious in some cases. But men have never done that. At best, it's like a civil rights kind of thing that's not specific to being a man or a boy or a father or something like that. Men are not, and there's reasons for this, I think, in biology and evolution.
Yes.
We're not typically primed to group together like that, but we should. We're a specific class of human being. We're half the fucking human race. And there's, men, boys, and fathers, I think, is the easiest. I think that's why you like it. You hear that and you're like, that makes a lot of sense.
It really does.
Because it describes it's a very easy way to articulate half of the human race that, by the way, matters 100%.
Yeah.
Whether or not, you respect it or appreciate it, it does, period.
It was a pivot, and it was significant coming out of your mouth.
Thank you.
Very significant.
Yeah.
And it represented a change and a notch of growth.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I started this company and, working in the Manosphere as an event builder and such at 17.
Yeah.
So, and back then it was mostly about pickup. I mean, fundamentally it was like self-improvement for young men.
Right.
Pickup was the main outlet of that.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of health and fitness and style. It's actually style back. The first conference had like a style talk, believe it or not. Tanner will be proud.
Cool.
It was not too bad for the time,
Yeah.
the era it was in the Manosphere. But it's evolved over time, and I've evolved with the event and the attendees and the speakers. So to see it mature and advance it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it and happy to see it. Period. On the externally outside of myself. Yeah.
Say that three-part phrase. It's men,
Boys, and fathers.
boys, and fathers.
Yeah. I see the Manosphere as an emerging movement for the positive future and for the men, boys, and fathers. And it's also an emerging movement, that's first ever for men, boys, and fathers organizing together for their own interest.
Yeah.
Primarily men and fathers, obviously. But yeah, Warren Farrell I was talking to recently on the phone. He almost came to speak at the event. It was super tight timing. This was like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yes.
And
I don't know who he is.
Dr. Warren Farrell, yeah.
He's
in the men's rights wing of the Manosphere is a legend. This guy's been around since like the early 80s probably or something like that. Doing work in this field, and he has a number of books on these issues, especially for the crisis. I think he has a book recently called The Boy Crisis, if I'm not mistaken on the title. It's a really thick book too.
I had heard about that, yeah. Okay, all right, so that's him.
He does really good work on, real statistical issues that men and boys and fathers face in America specifically.
Yeah.
And the kind of guy who's going to break down the numbers and then articulate it in a really good way.
Yeah.
And he's older too. I think he's like 71 or something like that. So he's pretty advanced age for our community.
Are we going to get him here, you think?
I think so, yeah. He's interested in speaking, yeah.
That'd be great.
Definitely.
Maybe Patriarch?
Maybe. Yeah, the name was a little bit, he was like, oh fuck, like I don't know if I didn't say that, but literally, but that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
The name is very polarizing, obviously. But we talked about it through email, and he's going to consider it. But the main event, I think he will speak at. And he's spoken previously at other conferences and stuff.
Yeah.
And he'd be a great fit here.
Wow.
I'm not going to agree with everything he says or the
Sure.
foundations of what he does.
Sure.
Well, the foundations I probably will.
Right.
But the work he's doing is fantastic. He's actually making real progress, and I think he's going to win. He's going to get it. I think he's creating what it's called he's working on it for like 11 years now, the White House Council on like Men and Boys, which, he said he almost got it through the Obama administration, but at the last minute they axed it, a surprise.
Yeah.
But the Trump administration through Pence and them they're taking it seriously.
They're going to love it.
Yeah.
They're going to love it.
And this country needs that. Men and boys, that's just the first step. I mean, that's a huge win, no doubt.
Yeah.
But even something like that, that's just one step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Men and boys and fathers have been treated like shit in this country for fuck knows how long.
Right.
That's got to stop.
I had to mention this when everyone mentions Wikipedia talking about the Manosphere.
Yep.
And just out of curiosity, I looked it up.
Yeah.
I didn't nothing that we are doing resembles anything that was mentioned in that Wikipedia entry.
Yep. That's why I told them to go fuck themselves or whatever in the press release.
I don't know anyone. I mean, I know everyone in this organization. I don't know any alt-right people here. I don't know any misogynists.
Yeah.
I don't know any white supremacists. I don't know, like what are they talking about? It's got nothing to do with what we are doing.
Yeah, they're delusional. I mean, these people are not in any way interested in the truth. They don't care. They're biased to the point of absurdity.
Yeah.
And then they write this delusional crap.
Yeah.
It's an effective way they're just slandering us, basically.
Yeah.
And then, moderates and people who are not familiar with what we do, they see that and they're like, oh, well, holy shit.
Yeah.
The whole movement for misogynists. It's
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
These are people who hate us because they don't agree with us.
Right.
And they can't handle that because they're
Right.
fucking children.
Yeah.
They're children in adult bodies, and then they turn out as just assholes.
Yeah.
So
It's 100% untrue.
it's 100% bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's why when I made my first press release as president of the Manosphere, I
Yeah.
addressed that immediately in that press release because it's like it's Wikipedia, but it's Wikipedia. Wikipedia, at least up to now, has like a status for trying to be unbiased, and it's like this is like an encyclopedia for the web.
Yeah.
And then they have this dirtbag trash on their article for the Manosphere that's just nonsense. They cherry pick stuff, It's the internet. It's got millions of men involved in the Manosphere over 25 years. Of course, you can cherry pick fucking anything and drop some story. So.
Wow.
And then, of course, feminism, has like this glaringly positive article, which is bullshit. What else is new?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Wow. Making men, boys, and fathers great again. A conversation with Anthony Dream Johnson. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, George.
What was your experience so far with the 21 convention?
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding.
Professional all across the board. Really good energy with a lot of people, and I just like it because it's a very positive direction.
This, George, this has been a first-class event.
It's fantastic. You guys run a really tight ship. I've been to a lot of conventions over the course of my business career, and I can tell when things are well run and when things aren't, and this is a very well-run operation. I was very impressed.
It's pretty incredible to see where Anthony's brought it, especially from last year, which was my first year here, and to see the upgrades he's made has been incredible.
I've got my notebook, and with every speaker, I've written down about 2 or 3 lines under each of the speakers of just the key prime stuff. That's good. That's good.
It's very surreal, man. I'm really enjoying it. I'm happy to live in such an era where such a thing like this is possible.
I have never seen a group of guys like this, a group of 200 men who are focused, squared away, they're working on their values. Just never met a bigger group of wonderful guys.
It's kind of neat because I've been to a fair amount of conventions in my day, but you never see one where the guys like here you can just see Ed Lattimore talking to Tanner about boxing.
Yeah.
You sit down and then you tell your boxing experiences. Everybody's kind of pinging off each other. It's nice.
It has been fantastic. And it's been 4 days of guys all on the same page, working in the same direction.
Fascinating meeting some of the people, hearing their stories. You got people traveling from other parts of the world to come here just to see some of the speakers. That's amazing.
The thing that's impressed me is everybody here is very serious.
Yeah.
They're taking it close to their heart.
What a great convention.
Thanks, George.